Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Inner Sanctums YouTube channel. Today, we're continuing our State Shield previews for Quidditch Australia. Today, we move on to the Queensland side of things, and joining us, representing the Queensland Thunderbirds at the State Shield event, is Elise Fox. Elise, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not too bad, and it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. We'll jump straight into it. How have things been in the lead up and the preparation for you and the rest of your team?
I think Queensland as a whole is really excited for this state shield because we've been the most prepared this year out of all years. I feel like we had a bit of an advantage because we got to play through a lot of the COVID era, I suppose, of lockdowns and everything. So I feel like we had a really good program leading into this state shield. So we all feel quite prepared. I think also too having a lot of players involved in the drop bears squad for the European Games and the focus squad really helped as well to drive that motivation.
And I guess bringing up the drop bears, having the ability to play with players who have gone on to that next level of representative Quidditch, how much is that going to help the side at the State Shield?
A lot. I think that for a long time we were sort of in a bubble, and it took a while for us to build up that experience with learning how the different states play and the different styles, because we know how Queensland plays and we're used to each other, but to sort of understand how the other states interact and to get that exposure at a higher level, I think is going to bring a real advantage to us this year.
In the preparation and the lead up, one of the more contentious topics has been the two arm tackling. How has the Queensland how have the Queensland sides adapted to that in the training and the preparation?
I'm a bit worried about it. I think we're all a bit daunted by it just because it's such a big change to the game. So it feels like it's happened very close to the actual games themselves. So we've tried to fit in a lot of training and preparation, and had a lot of discussions about the implications and practicing what it's going to look like and what it's going to feel like. But I think after we sort of went through the motions a bit more, I think that we're a bit more prepared for it. It's going to change the game a lot, and I think we won't really understand exactly how it's going to change until we're there doing it against some of the best players in the world.
Do you think that there's going to be a preference from the Queensland sides to maybe stick to the one arm tackling as opposed to trying to implement that two arm tackling in your playing styles, or is it going to be whatever feels best in the heat of the moment?
I think the latter. I think whatever feels best. We in the lead up in some of our QSL, like our Queensland State League matches, we would sort of sing out to the players on the subline, saying, this is a good situation where a two arm. Well, we wouldn't have that whole conversation, but sort of identifying times when a two arm would be a good situation. So we've got to see it in context a little bit. I think it will really depend on the heat of the moment. And just change that mind frame of we can actually do that, and we can actually contact from behind, we can actually do those things that we have to mentally stop ourselves from doing in previous games.
You're going to be coming up against a lot of high level talent, both at a drop bears level and at a state level, who have all had experience previously across the New South Wales and the Queensland and the Queensland and the Victorian teams. What's it going to be like coming up against all that experience and using your experience as well?
I think it's always scary, isn't it? When you have to run up against some of the best players in the world. I think it's gonna hit differently a bit this time because we've had that exposure to them at the drop bear camps. So I was on the focus squad, and Jake Quinlan was also at the drop bear camp. So I think we have a better appreciation for how they play. That's the beaters who I'm talking about. But of course we have a lot of chasers as well. But I think we're sort of approaching it with a different mindset, and I think we've had a boost to ourselves and our own sort of mindset of how we play. So I think we're going in with confidence, cautious confidence, I think. is how we're approaching this one.
No, that's definitely a good answer. So for those of us who are less familiar with Queensland Quidditch, is there anyone in particular that we should be keeping an eye on this weekend across the live stream?
I want to say everyone.
That's been a very common answer.
Okay, I'll take some out. We have a couple of brand new fresh faces who only joined this year. You'll probably hear their names a lot. So we've got Nikki, Redmond and Will Arnold are two players on the Thunderbirds who just joined this year and have quickly sort of moved up the ranks. So Nikki is a female beta, so she's in my subgroup. I think, yeah, it's really nice to see really good fresh talent come through after the dark period. So it's nice to see some faces, but also I think watching the more well-known players, after such an absence as well. So like, the players that we all know, like Josh and Kay and Jess and Joe, and those players who've really come into their own, especially after all that drop bear training.
Just a couple of quick questions to finish up. What's going to be a personal goal for you at the State Shield, and then what's going to be the goal of the overall team?
For myself, so I'm pushing hard to see how far I can get in the drop bear campaign this year. So I think for myself, it's taking that out of my mind for the weekend, because it's so easy to think, this is the first time that people are watching for this drop bear campaign, but to get that out of my head and just focus on Queensland winning our matches. So that's going to be my goal, and if I can do then that's a win. I think for Queensland, we've sort of been overlooked for a long time, I guess, as like the little sibling to the other states who have been playing a little bit longer than us. So I think this is definitely going to be our year we have a very good shot, I think, at winning the tournament. So I think, our goal is to win. It's not to do our best, it's to come in and win this tournament. So we've been putting a lot into that, and I think we're going to get pretty far.
Well, best of luck for the weekend, Alise, and thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And after our chat with Alise, joining me now are Emma, Xavier, and Claire, all from the Firehawks. How are you all this evening?
Fabulous. How are you?
Incredible.
That is excellent to hear. I can imagine you're all excited for State Shield. It's going to be the first time that a second Queensland team has participated, if my memory serves me correctly. Emma, I'll start with you. How have you found the preparation and the lead up to the State Shield?
I think it's been so different when I compare it to 2019, because there's just such a buzz in the atmosphere. Having a whole extra team of people that get to be a part of this is incredible, and it's so great that Queensland's been able to do this, especially post-COVID. So yeah, it's just been a buzz in the air. We've got a Firehawks group chat that is just going off all of the time. I almost need to mute it. It's going off too much, but everyone just seems super excited for this weekend.
And Xavier?
Well, this is my first time ever playing other states in Quidditch. So this is my first actual exposure to really high level Quidditch. So I'm super excited to play against some really high level players and other people that I just haven't played against. And yeah, as Emma said, it's really exciting to have two teams and know that we're playing at such a high level. Every training camp is just completely different to any sort of just Scorps training session or any QSL day, because it's literally the all-star team of Queensland.
And Claire, what about you? How have you found the preparation and the lead up?
I think it's been really good because we have had so much collaboration between the Firehawks and the Thunderbirds in that we have like mixed training sessions. And so at these training sessions, like obviously we'll break up into different teams so we can be running lines and so we can be, practicing like team cohesion. But I think being able to use this Firehawk squad and use these days as Queensland development, like it doesn't matter which team, whether you're on Firehawks or whether you're on Thunderbirds, like because everyone is training together, we're practicing different drills. Obviously we've got people like Joe Dodd, we've got Simon Spann and Jess Head and Joshua Lindley, KSN Hockey, like we've got these ex-Dementors players and a lot of people who have been to Drop Bear camps and on training squads. They're able to help the development of Queensland Quidditch for such a large range of people. So I think the preparation leading up to State Shield has just been really, really fun. And there's just been such an opportunity to develop so many new players, especially players who have only been playing since the beginning of the year. You know, we have a handful of players on both Firehawks and Thunderbirds that have been playing since the beginning of the year. And this is their first experience of high level Quidditch. But because of the preparation that we've had, it's been really beneficial to them. So I'm excited for this weekend and kind of allowing Queensland Quidditch to kind of showcase what it's been doing since the pandemic. So it should be good.
It's definitely going to be something to look forward to. And you bring up all those talented players that make up Queensland. What's it been like being able to bounce ideas and trainings off such high-level representative players who have gone beyond that state level and have gone on to represent Australia?
I mean, you're always going to have it's very good. And especially like I've been playing for about 5 years and I've known all of these players for 5 years. I've been playing with them. People like KSN Hockey and Jessica Head and people like that who I was playing with from the first night that they ever played Quidditch, and then watching them grow into international players and representing Australia, and then having them come back and being able to share what they've learned is just such a positive atmosphere. And having, again, people like Joe Dodd who have such a good comprehension of the rules, so that we can sit down and we can be like, especially with this new contact from behind and two-arm tackling, I think Queensland has definitely been, our training sessions have definitely been enriched by the sheer knowledge that people have been able to bring back from these discussions at both QA and IQA levels. So I think having some of these higher level players have really enriched the training and the development of these players, as I said before.
Xavier?
Yeah, pretty much everything that Claire said. Like, I haven't been playing Quidditch for that long, but pretty much all the players that Claire's mentioned I've been playing with on like my team since I've started. So I've found personally like pretty much developing my entire Quidditch career with them. So like it's incredible to see them go off. Like I was watching all the games in Ireland and rooting for Kay and Josh, and like just sort of seeing them playing at that super high level and knowing that I play with them sort of on a monthly basis felt really cool. And then like having them come back and share all their knowledge helps me as a, well, I guess not so new anymore, but still sort of new Quidditch player to grow further. So yeah, I'm excited to have my first exposure to high level Quidditch because I've heard like so many stories about it.
Emma,
yeah, I think we're so lucky that we have people like that who not only do they go and they play those high level Quidditch or they go along to those drop bears tryouts and training, they bring that stuff back. There are so many new training drills that we find out, and I've been playing for 5 or so years now and I'm still learning heaps more each time. And there's a new training drill that someone said, oh, I went to this drop bear camp, or I spoke to this person, or I saw this, and they brought that back, and then they can teach the rest of us and really help develop us as Queensland Quidditch, which is a pretty fortunate thing that we can do that. And that, yeah, it's not like they're this separate entity to the rest of us. You know, Xavier, you play on the team with them, you're playing with these people. At trainings, we're all training together, so we're learning directly from these people. Which is, yeah, we're just so fortunate that we have that, I guess, mentoring opportunity.
And I'll go back to something that Claire touched on. One of the more contentious topics has been that two-armed tackling that's coming in just for State Shield before it enters the rulebook completely from the start of 2023. And Xavier, I'll start with you this time. How, like, as a newer player to Quidditch, you've primarily been just the one-arm tackle, but you've had that introduction to the two-arm tackle so quickly into playing, which others who have been playing for longer might find the adaptation a little bit harder. I guess for you, how's that addition to gameplay been for you?
Well, initially I was terrified because I am not a big boy. I am very small and very skinny. So the introduction of a two-arm tackle in which someone like a player twice my size, like a Luke Derrick or a Jake Quinlan, to like two-arm tackle me to the ground, like terrified me. And I hadn't even really been one-arm tackling for too long. Like I'd only just gotten used to that because like the sport I came from is soccer. So like I did never really known how to tackle at all with my arms. So I'd only just really gotten used to one-arm tackling, and now we've introduced two-arm tacklings. But at the same time, having just started, I guess unlike other players, I'm not like, fully just used to one-arm tackling, and now the two-arm tackle is such a big change. It just hasn't been that long, so I can, I'd learn somewhat quickly and not, get on the old habit of just one-arm tackling. I feel like I can transition onto two-arm tackling pretty quickly. I just hope that I don't get too used to it and then end up two-arm tackling someone at Quaffle and get carded for it.
Emma, as someone who's been around, a lot longer, you mentioned you've been around 5-6 years. How difficult has that transition to two-arm tackling been for you?
It's not been easy. It's not something I naturally have been going to do. But I'm excited. As a beta, it changes beta game so much. So it'll be interesting to add that extra layer onto beating, which, yeah, I'm excited for, but it's definitely been something that has not come naturally. So I had to really work on it, but I'm excited to see how it really changes gameplay, especially at that, state level. So should be a lot of fun, but also as Quidditch players, we're used to big rule changes happening all the time anyway. So we just adapt and continue.
This is true.
And Claire, same question to you.
Yeah, I think that because we have had so many people who are influential in the decision and who have been involved in these chats, again, people like Joe Dodd, and having amazing coaches like Simon Spann and Joshua Lindley, good old Smugs. We have been really fortunate in the teaching of these new rules and allowing players, both people who have only recently come to the sport, and also, again, people like Emma and myself who have been around for quite a while. I think that teaching has been very as seamless as it possibly could be. And I know that I feel fairly confident with the rules surrounding two-arm contact and contact from behind, particularly with all of these awesome webinars that QA have been running. Good old Matt. So there's been a lot of implementation of, okay, how can we get understanding about these rules ready for State Shield, given that State Shield is the only opportunity we have to do them. We're not doing them at state-based leagues. We're not doing them at Quaffle. We're not doing it here, and having this as that trial basis. So I think, yes, there's going to be, I think on the weekend, there might be a couple of uncertainties around different things playing state versus state, as opposed to just playing in our little teams or within the state-based trainings. But I'm excited. I think two-arm contact and contact from behind have the potential to, yes, bring a lot more fun and a lot more of a challenge, particularly all three of us are beaters. So that's going to be really fun for beta game. But I think it's also going to make things a lot safer because you do obviously have more control in tackling that person. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
Is there any one in particular that you're going to keep an eye out on that are on other teams? And Emma, I'll start with you on this one.
I don't know. I don't focus on that too much. I'm like, we'll see what it is. I think that there are a lot of people that, like, you know, people surprise you in different games, and I'm more of a take each game as it is kind of thing. There's obviously your big names that are, I don't know, the big ones to watch out for. Your Luke Derrick gets mentioned all the time, that kind of thing. But no, in general, I'm a take each game as it is. I'm sure there will be some people that I'll start on the pitch and realize that Claire needs to be on instead of me, and some that I'll really enjoy going up against. So I'm excited to play against everyone, really.
Xavier, same to you.
Well, obviously, like Luke Derrick as a beater, I really want to see how these like really high level beaters play. But I was just watching over some of the games at the European Games yesterday night, and I'm actually really excited to play against Harry Huang and see how he plays as well. I was seeing like the way he beats, and I was like, oh yeah. So I'm actually really excited to, well, A, play against him, and like B, just to talk to him.
Yeah, no, as someone who has a lot of experience against Harry, it's definitely something. It's definitely something to behold. And Claire, same question to you.
Again, very similar to the other two. You know, there's obviously those players that have played at European Games and have been playing at a very high level that I'm really excited to beat against, beat with, to even just to watch from the sidelines or when I'm reffing. I'm very excited. I know when the European Games were actually happening, Xavier and I and a couple of other people all were watching them at the same time, and being beaters, it was great. There were a couple of times where a beater would just make a fabulous move and we'd all absolutely lose our minds because it was such a cool play. So I think being able to see some of these plays at such a high level is very, very exciting. I'm very much like Emma. I don't think there's anyone in particular that I'm like nervous about going up against. And I'm just really excited to see all of the beaters, just because beaters, that's where my head's at. You know, I don't watch Quaffle play pretty much ever, so I couldn't tell you anything about the Chaser game. But beater play, I'm so excited to just be a part of. And again, having that added challenge with contact from behind. I typically like to go up behind players and be a little bit sneaky, which I possibly shouldn't be saying in such a public.
I was going to say, don't give away the tactics, Claire.
Might lose my edge. But so I think being able to contact from behind and having to be extra aware of where everyone is just going to just elevate the game so much more. And I'm very excited to play against everyone. It's really going to be good.
And just a couple of quick questions to wrap it up. Is there anyone that we should be keeping an eye out on the live stream from the Firehawks? Emma, I'll start with you on this one.
I'm one in particular, and she's a new one on the block, Caitlin Rackson. I think she's one of our keepers. She is someone that I think everyone should be watching out for. She has a bit of a very netball defense background. So I'm looking forward to seeing her do some good blocks and some good moving. And yeah, she's someone she's very new to Quidditch and has just improved massively and taken everything on board, and you know, is now on Firehawks. So I think she's someone that everyone should be keeping an eye on.
I think that's someone who, like, on our team and at a state level flies under the radar a couple times, but I want to give a little special shout out to, because he taught me a lot. Like, I played with him a lot when I was only just starting out as a beater, so I want to give him a special shout out as well. And I think people should watch out for him. Ben Helene. People should be watching his beater play.
Mm-hmm.
And Claire, same to you.
I literally just had to get up like our group chat so I could look through and make sure that I'm giving like the right people credit, because honestly there are so many great players on this team, and I think the best thing about this team is that we have people who have been playing for years and years and years and have lots of experience, and then also people who are brand new to Quidditch and this is the first exposure that they have. People to look out for. Look, I think, and again, as a beater, I watch beta play almost exclusively. It is, which is sometimes detrimental being a speaking captain when I have to keep an eye on what's going with quaffle play as well. But I'm going to give a little special shout out to Mr. Xavier here. I mean, he is again fairly new to Quidditch, but he has that agility and that ferocity, I would say, that can make him very, very formidable on pitch if you kind of take your eye off him for too long. So yeah, I'll probably say watch out for Xavier, or even Nilla as well. Nilla Sambell, she's again hasn't been around for the longest time, kind of maybe a couple of years, but her game has definitely elevated a lot as well in the last couple of months with training, and I think that she can have some very, very strong moments to watch out for as well.
And just one last question to wrap it up again for each of you. What, in your words, what do you think is going to be the goal for the Firehawks this weekend, Emma?
Oh gosh, at the end of the day, we all play this sport for fun. I want us all to walk away from that having had the best time. That's just who I am. I want to have fun playing the sport. I want everyone to walk away from it having fun, but I also want everyone to walk away from it being like, I had that moment. That was a good moment. Like, I did a good thing. That's what I want. I want to have that for myself, and I want to have that for everyone else. I want people to have their solid moments where they're like, that was a beautiful beat, or that was a beautiful goal, or that was a beautiful block. Those are the moments that to me make Quidditch. They're the ones I remember, is when I see someone do this great move, and that's what I'll be so happy to see for my team. That's what I want for them.
Xavier?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm just excited to be playing some high level Quidditch, because this will be my first exposure, and obviously gaining experience leading up to my first ever quaffle as well in December. Just make some good beats, meet some new people, hopefully not hurt anyone, and yeah.
And Claire?
I think very much what Emma said as well. They're looking through the list. I think there's only 2 people on our team who have been at this level before, who have played previously on Thunderbirds and at that higher level. So it's very much a team focusing on development of skills and, again, just enjoying playing at this higher level to hopefully encourage, okay, this is the level that we're at. You've been chosen to be on this team. We've been training to be on this team. Let's play with against some other states, different people, to just try and, boost skills and get them more invested in continuing to play at such a high level. I think obviously the goal between both Thunderbirds and Firehawks is really to get that interest, especially having a second team, is to really develop Queensland Quidditch as a whole into being stronger, so that when we go to things like Quaffle, when we come to State Shield, we can really give the other states a run for their money. So I think Firehawks in particular are definitely about getting to that stage, having fun, and developing the skill base of the team as a whole.
Yeah, show them what Queensland's made of.
Exactly.
Those are all very, very good answers, and I'm personally looking forward to watching all of you in action at State Shield. Thank you very much for joining us here at the Inner Sanctum for this preview.
Thank you very much for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thanks for having us.